It's time to talk about the magic of the magical Magic Wand tool. Now, we do have a Magic Wand tool in Adobe Illustrator if you use Photoshop. I know a lot of you guys probably do. Photoshop has a Magic Wand tool. Its primary function in Adobe Photoshop is to select stuff based on a range or a tolerance of color. Now, we have that option here too, but because we're working in an object-oriented program, we actually have more options. Now, the tool is right over here. Incidentally, I am in the document called magicwand.ai. Here it is right here. Now, here's a trick. Double-click on the tool, and it will open up the Magic Wand panel. Now, you can get it from up here, but why bother? Just double-click. This gives us all our stuff, things that we can do to change how the tool functions. The default is fill color, just like Photoshop. And we have a tolerance setting, which is just like Photoshop in terms of how much it selects. So if I come over here and click, say, on the arrow, say right about here, notice what happens. It selects portions of the arrow. It selects down here, because that's, actually the exact same color. Now, it didn't select these areas down here. Let me do this. Let me move it. You can see the parts that got selected. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that it's selecting too much, because it did select these areas here too, because they fell within the range of the tolerance of 32, and you don't want those selected, so you change the tolerance. Now, this number can be any number from 0 to 255. If you lower the number, you get less. If you raise the number, you get more. So if we say, I have no tolerance whatsoever for shifts, I'm going to change that to 0. And I come over here again and click. As you can see, the only things I get are the two arrows and this, which is, again, the exact same color. Now, you could have strokes also. That's stroke color right here. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and unselect. Let's turn that one off. You can use these in combination. Let's go to stroke color. Now, in stroke color, we get the same thing. Okay? The tolerance will determine what we get. So if we come over here and say click on this one right here, you can see we get all of those strokes because they all have that same color. If we click on this one, now we start getting these down here too because they have the same color. They're black. Now let's go ahead and turn that one off. You also have stroke weight. Now the tolerance is 5 points. If we come over here, say, and click on this one, you say, well, man, I got even those little thin ones. Well, they're in the tolerance of 5 points. So if I come over here and maybe change that to 0, no tolerance whatsoever. And I come over here again and click, as you can see, I get these, and I get these down here because they all have the same stroke weight of 1 point. If they didn't, they wouldn't have been selected. The next one down, you got two more. You've got opacity, and you can select items by their opacity and blending modes. Now, we haven't gotten into either one of these yet, so we'll reserve that for when we get into opacity and blending modes. One other thing, if you want to reset the tool, you've made some changes up here, and it is what's called sticky. It remembers that stuff. You can click here and go into Reset. And it will reset everything to its default values. One other point. You'll notice everything that I did, this never got selected up here. Now, I've got this open so you can see this. The text is in a locked layer. Understand, layers that are locked are not used in the selection process. So you might want to remember that when you're working. But the Magic Wand tool is actually pretty cool. It emulates Photoshop in certain ways, but it goes way beyond Photoshop because we're working with objects.